Alright folks, Brent here with Foggy Films, and yes, this is a continuation from the last video where I tackled the squeaky limo, removing both primary and secondary clutches. In saying that, I'm going to be installing the clutch kit today, and I'm going to be starting off with the primary. It should be noted that there once again is another specialty tool that you can use to make this job one heck of a lot easier. I went with the clutch spring compressor tool from HunterWorks. Again, no, I'm not sponsored by any way, shape, or form by HunterWorks at all. If your tool works, I have no problem letting you know. And just let me throw a little disclaimer out there. Yes, I did end up using this tool wrong initially, and you'll see that on the primary clutch. The washer and puck I put in the absolutely wrong place. The tool still worked for me, and again, no fault to the tool at all, just some operator error. So I just want to let you know that, and you guys will see when I tackle the secondary, I make that correction. We were good to go at that point. So anyways, little disclaimer, so don't beat me up too badly in the comment section. In saying that, we're gonna hop right into it. So right off the hop, I did secure the clutch spring compressor tool to my bench, just using screws, so that way it wasn't gonna be flopping around or anything like that. And then I slid on the primary clutch. It should be noted that on the primary clutch, I did place some X's with a Sharpie on the clutch plate and the clutch itself, so that way I could guarantee that the clutch plate and the clutch went back together the exact same way that I took them apart. So wrong. Once you have that done, you're going to thread the T-handle all the way down until it touches the bell. From there, you can just slightly tighten it up just a little bit so that the pressure is on the clutch plate. From this point, you will utilize a 3/8 socket and remove all 6 bolts that secure the clutch plate to the clutch. And again, I use an impact just to speed things up a little bit. As you guys could see, when the bottom portion of that clutch dropped, it startled both me and my dog. We both kind of jumped at the exact same time, so that was kind of funny. But anyways, I just thought I'd mention that if you guys missed it. So anyways, continuing on. Once you removed all 6 bolts, you can go ahead and unthread the T-handle, and you will see that the clutch plate will nicely separate from the clutch itself. Now you will remove the T-handle completely, as well as the bell, and in my case the washer and puck. You will remove that, and you will remove your clutch plate. And once you do that, you will have access to your spring and your weights, which is what we're going to be tackling next. At this time, be sure to blow out or clean out your clutch, as this will give you the best opportunity to do just that. As you can see in mine, it was crazy dusty. Yes, I should have had safety glasses on. Yes, I should have had a mask on and all that wonderful stuff. I didn't, sorry about that. Anyways, clutch is clean, so we're moving on to the next step. What you're going to find on this specific clutch is that there's going to be 3 weights. That's what we're going to be removing, and we're going to be installing the new EPI weights. So why did I go with an EPI clutch kit? Well, it's very simple. I've used them in the past. I was satisfied with their product. It was just knowing that it's just a good product, having used it before. I'm not saying there's not better clutch kits out there. There could be worse ones. I tend to stick to products that I know work well. The EPI kit I went with was the Sport Utility, and it's good for 30 to 32 inch tires. So possibly an upgrade in the future here, guys. In regards to elevation, it is made for 3,000 to 6,000 feet, which again, we're up in the mountains a fair bit, so I went with that elevation choice as well. All right, now we're going to be tackling the weights, and for this you're going to need a 1/8 Allen as well as a 3/8 socket. You are going to remove the nut holding the weight pin, and then you're going to remove the pin itself. I did have some issues with my pin coming out. I found that they were rusted, so I ended up having to use a punch and hammer in order to knock mine out, and I found that all 3 of mine were somewhat rusted. So I just took my drill, a wire brush, and I ended up cleaning those up nicely so they were nice and smooth again. You will go ahead and remove the old weight. Once all cleaned up, you're going to insert your weight, followed by that pin, and you're going to tighten them up. Again, these don't have to be crazy tight. You know, just snug is good. Again, that pin is going to have some play, as well as that weight as well. Then you're just going to repeat those steps for the next two weights. I'm not going to bore you with that. We're going to move on to the next step. Now you can go ahead and install the new spring and just make sure that it seats nicely. It really should just fall into place. Now, with the new weights and spring installed, I utilized the clutch spring compressor tool and I pressed the clutch plate back on to where it was connecting with the clutch. Once it's there, you will thread in your 6 bolts. First start them by hand, and then you can take a socket. Again, it's going to be a 3/8 socket, and you can tighten them up. Once tightened down, go ahead and release the clutch spring compressor tool. Primary done. Primary clutch is now done, guys. Let's move on to the secondary. First, you're going to slide the clutch on the spring compressor tool. Then you're going to slide the bell, the washer, and the puck, as well as the T-handle onto the spring compressor tool. From there, you're going to snug it up to the clutch. Once there, remove the 4 bolts holding the helix to the clutch. You will utilize a T25 Torx bit for this. And just remember, guys, these bolts are on there with blue Loctite. So if you want to make the job a little bit easier, you can go ahead and add some heat to the bolt, and that way it'll soften up the blue Loctite. I didn't in this case. I just literally put a lot of pressure on the bolt and utilized my impact, and they actually came out fairly easily. With all 4 bolts removed, go ahead and back off the clutch spring compressor tool. And you can go ahead and remove that completely. Now you can go ahead and remove the helix, followed by the dampener, followed by the secondary clutch spring. Look how much garbage there is in there. That's insane. You can see it moving around. And now it's time to install all our new parts. And install the pink spring that came in the box, followed by the dampener, followed by the new helix as well that came in the box with the EPI kit. I then used the clutch spring compressor tool to press that spring and helix back into position, lining up all 4 bolt holes. Using blue Loctite, I threaded all 4 bolts back onto the clutch. I then tightened them with a T25 Torx screwdriver. Once that was complete, I removed the clutch spring compressor tool. And now we are basically ready to install it back onto the machine. Secondary, done. Now you can go ahead and slide the secondary back onto the machine. So using a 15mm socket as well as a torque wrench, you're going to go ahead and tighten that up to 40 foot-pounds. I also used a strap wrench in this case just to keep the clutch from spinning. Now you're going to install the belt on the secondary, and again making sure that you can read that rating when you're looking down at that belt from atop. Now slide the primary clutch onto the belt and then onto the shaft. This may take a little bit of muscle, and if you guys are finding that you're struggling with this, go ahead and use your secondary clutch belt remover tool that comes with your machine and go ahead and spread those sheaves. That will allow the belt to become a lot more loose, and you will be able to get your primary clutch onto that shaft with almost no issue. Now with the primary on the shaft, go ahead and insert your bolt, and again that's going to be an 18 millimeter, and we're going to be tightening this one up to 95 foot-pounds. I did use a jack handle to keep the primary clutch from spinning, so I just kind of inserted it in and through the primary clutch and then just up against part of the framing on the machine. Now with both clutches on, go ahead and spin the secondary counterclockwise, so that way the sheaves can fall back into their resting place. Now with the clutches on, go ahead and install your clutch cover, followed by your air intake tube, followed by the shock, and then that's going to be followed by the tire. I'm not going to bore you with that. All right, folks, so this is going to be the first fire up and roll after installing the EPI clutch kit. I'm not going to be giving on her. I got a brand new belt in there as well. And plus I have undersized tires right now. Anyways, first fire up and roll. Let's see how she does. Hopefully I put everything together properly. Otherwise you could hear some crunching and lots of good stuff. Fairly confident it went together essentially the same way it came apart. So, all right, here we go. All right, so right off the hop, much higher clutch engagement. Not sure if I like it. Once we can get out and do some real world testing, I will bring an update just in regards to the clutch kit. Anyways guys, that's pretty much gonna do it for this one. I do hope you enjoyed this video. It is more of an instructional video, I will say that. You know what, job done, and we're moving on to the next one. So as always guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.